references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing, use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, May 11th, 2026. We open tonight with President Trump putting Iran back at the center of the global crisis. Trump says Iran has been playing games with the United States and the world for decades, dragging out talks while building leverage through terror proxies, nuclear pressure, and regional chaos. He placed direct blame on Tehran and on the Obama-era Iran deal, arguing that billions in relief strengthened the regime and endangered Israel, America, and U.S. allies. Now the White House message is blunt. Iran can stop delaying, accept the terms, and end the crisis or face continued pressure. Iran's latest proposal to the United States included demands tied to sanctions relief, access to assets, Strait of Hormuz issues, and war compensation. President Trump rejected the proposal and kept pressure on Tehran. The administration's position is that Iran does not get rewarded for escalation, terrorism, nuclear blackmail, or threats to global shipping. The message from Washington is simple. Stop playing games, stop funding proxies, and stop trying to turn war pressure into a payday. Iran's terror network remains one of the biggest reasons this conflict matters. Tehran has backed Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, militias in Iraq and Syria, and the Houthis in Yemen. Those groups do not operate in a vacuum. They move with money, weapons, training, and political support. The dollar amounts shift by year and group, but the pattern stays the same. Iran funds proxies destabilize the region, and the cost shows up in war, shipping threats, and civilian bloodshed. CENTCOM says U.S. forces have redirected 61 commercial vessels away from Iran as part of blockade enforcement. This is not symbolic pressure. It is active enforcement reshaping commercial movement around Iranian ports. The operation is designed to apply economic pressure on Tehran while protecting broader regional security interests. When dozens of ships are being redirected, the world is watching a real-time pressure campaign unfold at sea. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sat down with 60 Minutes and addressed Israel's future relationship with Washington, Iran, Lebanon, and the broader security fight. Netanyahu said Israel wants to draw down American military financial support over the next decade, while maintaining strength against enemies in the region. The interview lands at a critical moment as Israel, Iran, and the United States remain locked in a high-stakes confrontation. Kurdish leader Qubad Talabani says President Trump has a chance to land a major deal that could end the Iran war and trigger a worldwide economic boom. Talabani called Trump the master of the deal and pointed to economic incentives as part of the path forward. The message is that peace may come through strength, leverage, and a deal that gives the region a reason to move away from war. Domestic politics. Secretary Mullin is calling on Congress to fully fund Customs and Border Protection and ICE for the next 3 years. Mullin says border enforcement cannot survive on short-term political games, while agents and officers are expected to handle a long-term national security mission. The demand is direct. Fund the agencies, secure the border, protect the personnel, and stop leaving frontline enforcement in limbo. President Trump is ordering federal agencies to buy American with no excuses. The administration is closing waiver loopholes that allowed government buyers to choose foreign products, while American workers, factories, and supply chains were left behind. The policy is aimed at strengthening U.S. manufacturing, protecting domestic production, and keeping taxpayer dollars inside the country. President Trump is also pushing back after another court fight over tariffs. Judges questioned parts of his tariff authority, but Trump argues America still has powerful ways to collect money from foreign trade. His position is that tariffs are a tool to protect American workers, rebuild manufacturing, and stop foreign countries from taking advantage of the United States. Trump is defending the idea that money paid into the United States should stay with the United States, especially during the tariff fight. Courts have raised questions about refunds and presidential authority, but Trump's argument is clear. Foreign trade abuse cost America for years, and he is not eager to return money collected from policies meant to protect American workers. President Trump posted a Mother's Day message wishing everyone an amazing day. It was a brief note, but it landed during a heavy news cycle filled with war, court fights, election battles, and border funding. Sometimes the simple message still matters. Happy Mother's Day to the moms holding families together.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Qnotables, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Qn honey pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Qn butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wooden pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Qn's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Qnotables keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, May 11th, 2026. A Mother's Day message also went out to the Mom-Anons, recognizing the women who keep families, faith, and communities moving when the news cycle gets dark. Behind every political fight, court case, border battle, and foreign conflict, there are mothers carrying homes, children, and daily life. Honor your mother, thank the women who raised you, and remember that strong families are still the foundation of a strong country. The White House is promoting Trump accounts as the gift that keeps on giving. The program creates tax-advantaged investment accounts for eligible American children, with the federal government seeding accounts for children born during the covered years. Supporters say it gives young Americans a financial head start and turns long-term saving into a national policy priority. A California girls' track meet is back in the national spotlight after transgender athlete A.B. Hernandez won multiple jumping events, including long jump and triple jump, while tying for first in high jump. Protesters outside the event demanded that biological males be kept out of women's sports. The controversy is now part of a national fight over fairness, eligibility, and the future of girls' athletics. North Carolina's Medicaid program is facing new scrutiny after autism therapy billing reportedly jumped from roughly $1.4 million to more than $660 million within 5 years. State Auditor Dave Boleek says that kind of growth demands a serious audit for waste, fraud, and abuse. The issue is not whether children need care. The issue is whether taxpayers are being billed properly and whether the system is being exploited. Oklahoma and Louisiana are moving to require vaccine records to be included in certain unexplained child death investigations. Louisiana bill language calls for reviewing immunization records through the state registry when a child under 15 dies unexpectedly and without explanation. Supporters say this is about fuller records, better investigations, and making sure no possible factor is ignored. Election integrity. President Trump is again warning that the radical left must fail, saying the country itself is at stake. His message comes as Democrats organize a major election operation, and Republicans prepare their own nationwide election integrity effort. Trump is framing the midterms as more than a political contest. He is framing them as a fight over whether the country can trust its own system. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer is backing a major election operation that includes Eric Holder and Mark Elias, while President Trump is answering with what he calls a larger election integrity army. Democrats call their effort election protection. Trump calls it a fight against interference and voter suppression against Republicans. The midterms are already becoming a national battle over who controls the rules of the vote. A White House-linked election claim is drawing attention, with supporters saying new information about the 2020 election may soon be revealed. The timing lines up with President Trump's renewed focus on election integrity ahead of the midterms. The issue remains simple. Americans want elections that are secure, transparent, and trusted. President Trump's action against former CISA official Chris Krebs remains a major marker in the fight over election security and government censorship. The White House accused Krebs of using his position to dismiss election concerns and restrict public debate around sensitive issues. The move revoked access and directed further review, putting CISA's role in 2020 back under the microscope. Mike Lindell is officially in the 2026 race for governor of Minnesota. The MyPillow founder and longtime Trump ally is running on a platform aimed at flipping Minnesota and putting election integrity, economic issues, and conservative priorities at the center of the campaign. His entrance guarantees the race will draw national attention. Minnesota's voter vouching system is under fresh scrutiny after America First Legal obtained records showing heavy use of the process. The system allows a registered voter to vouch for others during registration, raising concerns from election integrity advocates who say it can weaken ID safeguards. Supporters call it access. Critics call it a loophole. Either way, Minnesota is now back in the national election debate.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Board's May 11th, 2026, Tina Peters is again appealing directly to President Trump through a letter dated March 29th, 2026. Her supporters are calling for her release and framing her case as part of the larger election integrity fight. Whether people see her as a criminal defendant or a whistleblower, her name continues to hold symbolic weight among voters who believe the 2020 election was never fully examined. The Italy-gate accusation is circulating again, naming Barack Obama and former Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi in an alleged operation connected to the 2020 election. The renewed attention shows that questions about foreign interference, election systems, and official accountability remain alive among millions of Americans. The bigger question is whether any new information will move this from internet claim to official action. CNN's Abby Phillip reacted sharply after a Virginia redistricting ruling, saying America is now in the depths of hell when it comes to redistricting fights. The comment came as Democrats faced a setback over a congressional map that had favored their side. The reaction shows how intense the map battles have become heading into the next election cycle. International and military. The U.S. Army says the remains of First Lieutenant Kendrick Lamont Key, Jr. have been recovered after he went missing during a training exercise in Morocco. Key disappeared near the Cap Dra training area after soldiers reportedly fell from a cliff during a recreational hike. Search efforts continue for a second missing soldier as the Army prepares to return Key home with honor. A star-shaped object in the UFO discussion is getting compared online to the spacecraft used to send Superman to Earth in the 1978 movie. This is a visual culture story, not just a UFO story. People saw the shape, recognized the image, and immediately connected it to one of the most famous alien origin stories in American pop culture. Whether coincidence or something stranger, the internet noticed. Crime and accountability. Paul Sperry reports that court filings set James Comey's arraignment for 9:30 a.m. on June 30th, 2026, at the New Bern Courthouse in North Carolina. Comey remains one of the most recognized names from the FBI's Trump-era controversies. If the filing schedule holds, June 30th becomes a major date on the political and legal calendar. Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer is putting parents on notice after a deadly e-motorcycle case involving a teenager. Spitzer said that if parents refuse to hold their children accountable, prosecutors may hold the parents accountable when illegal or dangerous behavior leads to innocent people being hurt or killed. The case has become part of a larger debate over juvenile crime, parental responsibility, and consequences before tragedy strikes. CAG-linked users are promoting two new tools for citizen researchers. TAS.news, described as a teacher accountability system, and CAS.news, described as a CPS accountability system. The stated goal is to track misconduct and accountability issues involving teachers, foster parents, and child protection personnel. If maintained responsibly, these tools could become another resource for diggers focused on institutional failures involving children. A McCullough Foundation post is drawing renewed attention to Eric Clapton's past comments about suffering serious symptoms after taking the AstraZeneca shot. Clapton previously said he feared he might never play guitar again after a severe reaction. The latest discussion is being used by medical freedom advocates as another example of why injury claims should be heard, investigated, and not dismissed. Tech and culture. A video circulating online says Spencer Pratt deserves to win LA and asks people to pray for him. The post reflects how online communities rally around public figures, local fights, and cultural moments. The clean read is this: supporters are asking for prayer, attention, and momentum around Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles. The UFO Superman comparison also shows how quickly online culture processes strange images. One unusual shape appears, and the internet immediately reaches for movie history, symbolism, and pattern recognition. It may not answer what the object is, but it shows how the public reacts when official explanations leave room for imagination. Closing segment. Tonight's show connects the same thread across every story: national sovereignty, election integrity, institutional accountability, and the fight over who gets to define truth. Trump is pressing Iran, pushing Buy American, defending tariffs, and demanding election integrity. Border officials want real funding. Parents are being warned about accountability. State systems are being audited. Citizen researchers are building tools. Mothers are being honored. And across the board, Americans are asking the same question: who is accountable when the system fails?
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.
Dear Mr. President, as I sit here on Palm Sunday and the 545th day as a political prisoner, I'm compelled to write you. This is the second letter I've written from prison. The first was also to you. So grateful to the millions of people who have voiced support that continues behind these prison walls. All the support and my faith continues to give me hope. My agony and frustration, while unimaginable for many, falls a far second to the urgency and silence I see on the real reason I am here and continue to be here, the electronic voting machines. As a successful business owner for 32 years before I ran for and was elected to office, I felt my skills could benefit the citizens in my community and put an end to the 3.5-hour wait times in our motor vehicle department. Charged with a multi-million-dollar budget, 5 divisions, 3 location offices, I accomplished what many critics thought impossible in achievements, all within budget. What I did not plan for nor anticipate was uncovering the source of the selected public officials that most thought were elected, a secret so fundamental to the imbalance of power in our government, from local city council, school board elections, all the way up, as you know, to president. This is explained partly in my first movie, Selection Code, on my website, tinapeters.us. Why I am writing now is due to the daily, unending urgency I feel to speak out. The midterms will be won by the opposition, as they are, as we've seen in Virginia, New Jersey, New York City, and across the U.S., if the machines are allowed to continue to be used. That is a certainty. This is what keeps me up at night and makes me feel what I exposed that landed me here seems to be for nothing after 5 years of its discovery. I am a federal whistleblower, but see no progress to the elimination of the machines made in China and proliferated throughout the U.S. Other countries like France, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Israel, all count the ballots by hand. That system worked in the U.S. for 200 years and can again if you get rid of the machines. These machines do not meet federal standards. I experienced and personally observed the votes being switched during my 2022 Secretary of State race against Jenna Griswold. This is a real national threat, and if allowed to continue, will steal our country once again. The pushback against many elected officials to support security and transparency in elections exposes their obvious complicity in the use of machines in our voting that they once spoke out vehemently against. See movie Selection Code for the clips and any safeguards for the people's vote and voice. With much appreciation to God, I have a voice, and the people responsible for putting me here can never take that away. However, now is the time to act, to safeguard that we have a country that assures every legitimate vote counts. The obvious disparity between the 9-year sentence and the Colorado senator that got probation for this similar crime is evidence of the voices hell-bent on keeping me in prison to punish me for revealing the truth. But still 5 years later, the machines I exposed are still being used. Why are we letting them win? Those are the true criminals that seek the devastation of our great country. When judges and politicians champion the release of murderous criminals and minimize the rights of the innocent and truth tellers, it's very easy and plain to identify the enemies within. I believe God has called each person to choose good or evil. A popular quote, "The only way for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. It's time to act." Getting rid of the complex, flawed voting machines will bring liberty and justice to all and restore our faith in elections and guarantee our representatives duly do represent the people they serve. God bless you, Mr. President, and your family for the courage and sacrifice you've shown to this nation. In duty and service, I remain yours truly, Tina M. Peters.